What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knuckle Busted. In today's video, oh my god, whoops. In today's video, we're gonna be doing a quick upgrade to my 2004 Tahoe because, as I think I mentioned previously, my speedometer on my gauge cluster, the stepper motor's been going out. It's pretty intermittent. I can't get it to reproduce it all the time, but basically when I'm moving, down the road, the needle will kind of be jumpy, or it increases, it moves exponentially related to how fast I'm actually going. Sometimes, I'll be sitting still at a stoplight and it'll be reading 60 miles an hour. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. After I turn the vehicle off and on a few times, it fixes itself. So that's the main thing that we're going to be doing today in this video. I'm going to upgrade my speedometer, or my faceplate on my gauge cluster, because I got to repair that stepper motor. And I figured while I'm already in there, I'm going to actually replace the factory needles with some red ones. I've got a new faceplate here. This is actually for an Escalade. I'm going to add a transmission temp gauge, and then somewhere over here, in this box, this is a kit I got off Amazon. I'll try to list links for everything that I've got here. Excuse me. I'm also going to add some red LED backlighting to my cluster. So that's in here. This has a soldering iron, a solder sucker tool, 7 new stepper motors that I'll put in. I'm basically just going to do a full swap out. The LEDs, there's also red, blue, and white in here. Alright guys, so it's nighttime now. Babies are going to sleep, and we're gonna try to replace the dash cluster. So before you take this out, because we're gonna be resetting the needles, I suggest you take a picture of where your needles are at when the vehicle is off. Crank my wheel. That way you have their home position where they'll be at. I apologize for the dinging. I'll try to remove that. Okay, and then you want to start it, because they'll sweep and move back, and you want to get a picture kind of their location when it's running, so that after you reset the needles, you can double check. You can double check where they're supposed to be at. So, I don't know, I took the keys out. I need to keep that in. So to get this out, this is real easy. This little plastic piece around here just pops off. You can use some plastic pry, like trim removal tools. You might be able to just pull on it with your fingers. On these older vehicles, when this plastic sits in the sun, it becomes brittle and it can break, because there are little metal clips behind here all the way around that hold this in. And like I said, that plastic can get brittle. It can break if you pull on it too hard or just right. And these actually aren't that cheap to replace. So we're gonna go grab our trim removal tool, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I got my tool. I got a whole kit off Amazon for like 14 bucks. And the other thing that we're gonna do is keep your foot on the brake, or put the emergency brake on or whatever. We're gonna take the shifter and we're gonna put it all the way down, and we're also going to tilt the steering wheel as far down as it can go, and then I'm just going to start trying to work my way actually, see, I just pulled on that and it came right off. Then it just kind of lifts up and out like that. We'll set that over there for now. Then I believe there are 4. There's a bolt here, top right, top left, and bottom left. It's either, I think, like 9/32 or maybe a 7mm. So I'm gonna go grab a couple of sockets and we'll be right back. It is a 7. I got a socket driver or a nut driver. Let's take these out real quick. Like I said, there's one here, there's one up there, down there, and then on this side, one there, and one down there. So let me pop this out real quick. So you do want to be careful taking these out, because I was just pulling this last one out down here in the bottom left. I fumbled it and dropped it, so it's back down in there. I mean, it should be pretty easy to get to, especially once we take this out, but I went ahead and just grabbed my magnet reacher, and so I'm going to reach back in there and try to grab it real quick. But keep that in mind whenever if you take yours apart like this. Okay, so again, with the shifter all the way down, you know, as far as we can, this should just lift right out. We're gonna pull the bottom out first, it looks like, and there's the see. See, and there's a big connector up here, blue and gray. You'll just squeeze those tabs on either side to release it, and we'll pull her out. Okay, so we got it out. Now we need to take it apart so that we can get to the circuit board inside. We're going to start by taking off the back, which just has these little tabs on it. There's 4 on the top, and it looks like 3 on the bottom. So I'm going to pry those off. So we're going to pry those off a little bit. You kind of got to keep pressure on it, otherwise they want to pop back into place a little bit. So that can kind of be the annoying part. But once you get them, I don't think it's too bad. Okay, so we got the back off, and now we're going to take the lens off. And this one the front has 3 on the top and 2 on the bottom that you actually have to kind of reach inside to get. Let's see. Okay, we got that out. Actually worked best, I think, by kind of just wiggling it a little bit. And then it seemed to slide right out. So to kind of protect the circuits on the back, we'll sit this back inside the back cover while we take off the faceplate. It's part of my little trim set. I got these little deals to, you just kind of use it to pull these out. Super, pretty easy. Okay, so got those out. We'll take off our take off our faceplate. So we're not putting this one back on. We're gonna upgrade to a Cadillac. Take that out. Just put that over there. And before we put everything back into, we'll wipe everything down and make sure it's all nice and clean. Take the back off. Okay, so yeah, these are so you can see it's got the X25 168s for the stepper motors. What I'm putting in it are actually an upgrade. They are X27s. And we're going to replace them all, but we're also probably going to, we might redo some of the soldering around here. You see how that's kind of getting discolored? That means it's getting a little warm. The other thing we'll probably do is the cluster backlighting. We will take those incandescents out and replace them with red LEDs that came in my kit over here. We got stepper motors here and here. And then here's where the temp cluster is going to go, and you can actually see here they have alignment spots for these. So if I'm not mistaken, it goes like that one will sit like that, right? So we're going to flip this over. Basically you've got those 4 solder joints everywhere. Just gotta hit them with the solder. Probably about, I think about 450, 500 degrees Celsius set point on there. Should be good to get that flowing, and then you'll use the solder sucker. You know, you just kind of press that down, and then when you're ready to suck up the solder, you pull that, and it pulls a quick vacuum on everything. So let me get set up, and we'll start doing that. So also got my soldering iron plugged in. It's heating up. I just set it to 450 Celsius. This kit does come with a little bit of solder of its own. I just went ahead and picked up a couple of rolls of different thicknesses. I got a 0.8 millimeter and I believe a 0.3. You do want something with a rosin core that's got flux in it, basically, so that the tin solder part will actually flow better and get into your holes on your circuit board. So we are ready to start trying to take this stuff out. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to tin my solder first a little bit, or my solder tip, just to okay. And we're going to get our solder sucker. When you do this, you only want to hold the solder up there for a couple of seconds so that you don't damage the board itself. So Here's hopes that I'm halfway effective in my desoldering. And if it, I mean, you can just hit it. Oh, come on, this one's not wanting to. There we go. Okay, it's a little bit loose now, but we're still holding on down here, so. Okay, so that took a minute, but we finally got the first one out. Yeah, a couple of seconds with the solder tip up there, and then you got to get up there real good with your sucker to suck all the solder out. So we're gonna go ahead and get the rest of these out. Probably just do maybe a little bit of a time lapse here. And then we'll get the new stepper motors in, get those soldered in, and then maybe we'll tackle the lights. Okay, so we got all the stepper motors out, not without a battle scar. You saw me burn myself a little bit there. So watch what you're doing, because this thing's really hot. Okay, so we got all that out. Now the new stepper motors will just be we'll just press fit them in. Actually, let's go ahead and look at the LEDs. Let's so if I remember, so it's, yeah, it's just going to be all of these. I think we'll go ahead and take those out. I think we're doing okay. But I might grab a little Sharpie. Or something to mark where each bulb is connected. I mean, I don't know if it matters, but I'd rather put the new bulbs in exactly how these ones are. I don't think these are labeled or anything. They might be polarity sensitive. I don't know. And I'll also have to get some snips or something to snip these off because they're quite long. Obviously you don't need all that wire lead right there. Okay, so I went ahead and got a Sharpie. I went ahead and just put little dots next to each for each lead. Is soldered right there, you can see right there, and then inside that, it's not a very good view, is it? And I was also looking at, as you can see, the discoloration around here. That means it's got a little hot. We might put a little bit more solder just on these. Sometimes these can get loose. Actually, you can see it looks like maybe that one right there might be missing a little bit. The bottom one, third from the left. So we'll probably add a little bit of solder to all these resistors. I believe those are actually what control the PRNDL and the odometer display, or help so that that doesn't go out. Those are the resistors for that. So while we're in here, we might as well add some flux to that, and then we will get these bulbs out and get our nice new bright red ones in. So I'm actually having a pretty difficult time getting this on. I don't think this tip is really quite fine enough for those resistors, so we're just gonna leave that be for now. I don't want to break anything, so we're just gonna move on to taking these light bulbs out here, and then we'll get the new bulbs in and the new stepper motors. So we're gonna jump ahead to that. One thing I will say that I grabbed that you might want when you're dealing with the bulbs, because that's a really small wire, right, is get yourself a pair of tweezers. So that you can get yourself a pair of tweezers so that you can grab those wires. So all I'm right now is I'm just reflowing new flux to the bulbs, where the bulbs are going to solder to the board. So there's plenty there for the new bulbs. So I don't know if you can see that real well, but I've really just sanded slightly the top, really just the top dome. I kind of left the sides alone. From what I read on the reviews of this particular kit, it's a straight out bright spots that they get. So we'll see if this works. Who knows? Okay, so the bulbs are done. May not be the prettiest solder jobs, but there's the trans temp gauge right there. All those, okay. And now the stepper motors are pretty easy. They're just press fit in, and then we'll flip them over and solder in the back side. Just kind of push that in. Okay, they're all pressed in, and now all we got to do is we'll flip it over and we will solder in the back side, and we can start putting this puppy back together, guys. Okay, so blue side down. And okay, so we got red LEDs, but looks like we need to flip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Okay, so they are polarity sensitive, it looks like. Let's go back and do that real quick. And all right, so I've got all the LED bulbs soldered in. I've checked it. They're all working. Now we're gonna start putting it back together. So let's get our back. Which is actually going to be rather our, I guess our front like this. Because we are going to put that on. Then we'll put this lens back on. Okay. Now it's time we grab our new faceplate, Cadillac style. Should just slide over everything existing. Oh, don't forget to put your trip reset button back in. So I'm not sure what the issue is. I still can't get the tachometer to seat properly. It's not even sweeping like it's supposed to, and these LEDs still have some bright spots in them. So I don't know if it's my sanding job, if I should have sanded all the way around, or if that's just how these LEDs are going to be. But you can see that there's bright spots, you know, and The tachometer is actually still pretty dim. The RPM gauge has a bright spot right here, and the rest of this is fairly dim. I mean, it looks good, but I don't know. We'll have to see. I may end up paying somebody anyways to fix this mistake of mine. But it's late, so I'm just gonna pop the lens back on and get this put back together so I can go to bed for a few hours before I have to go to work. All right, what's up, guys? So it's actually been a few days, a couple weeks actually, since I repaired the cluster on my Tahoe. She's been working. I got all the needles set properly, and actually what I found to be easiest, because I don't have a signal generator that powers these things, I actually just left it plugged in when I set my needles with the keys onto the accessory position. And so we have one other thing to fix. The bulbs that came with my little soldering kit, I'm not a fan of. As you can see, they have bright spots right here, but they don't light up everything real well. I mean, they kind of dim. They dim. They don't really dim, actually. It's just they go from being on to then they just flip off once I scroll all the way down. So we're gonna take this back out. I got some new LEDs that I think will work better, and I'm gonna get those swapped in, and then I'll come back to you. All right, so we're back. The other thing that I was gonna try and do was, because I'm putting red LEDs in, my PRNDL and odometer are still green. I was gonna try and just put on this is a red lens repair film that goes on, you know, like a tail light. I was hoping to just put that on the faceplate, you know, peel the green one off, and put this one on. But I don't think that's gonna work because these are still red. I might try it just to see what it looks like. I also went and got just a whole new soldering iron. The one that came with my previous kit, it's nice and it worked, but you can't exchange the tip on it. And I figured I'm gonna be getting into probably more of this stuff, and so I figured I'd pick me up a decent soldering iron. This one's got a digital control. I think it goes up to 450C, so the same as this one, but it's got 3 different tips as well: a fine, a normal, and a really wide one. We're going to be using the ultra fine one for this, and it's also got a safety deal for the tip and the you know, a little white pad or whatever. So I bought some different bulbs, LEDs off of eBay this time. I got them in a 50 pack for, I think it was a 50 pack for like 10 bucks. Yeah, there's a couple more in there. But these actually look like these bulbs and what the original style was kind of like, except for, you know, it's an LED diode there on top. But it's got the little wires. I think I'm gonna try and put them back inside these sockets that, you know, that they have with the factory ones. So we're gonna get these other ones removed, and then we are going to take all these out, and we are going to put these guys in there. And I think actually, while I've got it apart again, I'm gonna replace the turn signal ones with these green LEDs that came with that first pack, because I think that'll still work well. And then we'll probably do the same with the cruise control right here. So we'll have 3 of these really bright green ones to put in, and then the rest will have red. Okay, so I'm ready to put my green LEDs out of my first pack. I'm gonna put them back into these little socket mounts. think really all you do is you just kind of fold up these leads a little bit and stick it down in there. That's probably not going to be super pretty, but I got all the LEDs back on and finally got all the polarities appropriately. I did screw up my, so I put those really bright LEDs there, but my right turn signal, as you can see, is going on right now. I may have accidentally ripped off one of the copper pads for that, and I tried going to, so I was on the 2 vertical pads. I tried going to the horizontal ones, and that didn't seem to work. I don't know what the routing for these is like. I don't know if, because there's 4 in each spot, I don't know if you can use all 4, if it's just the 2. So I gotta look at that again and either see if I can't fix that copper pad, or I may have to buy a new cluster board, or just live with, you know, not having a right turn signal here, but my mirror, I have my mirror still. But I think these look a lot better. And there, let's see how they dim a little bit, not a lot, but I think they look nice. And I took off, so I got this like high strength lens repair stuff for like a tail light, and it looks good over the Prindle. I don't know how to change those to a red, but the odometer, when I put it on there, I actually could not see this during the day, so I went ahead and peeled that one back off, and I'll deal with the green until I can maybe figure out how to swap those LEDs to a red, if that's even possible. I don't have a clue. The only other thing that I need to do is I need to check my cruise control to make sure that one works, but even if it doesn't work right now, I'm not gonna worry about swapping it, because it is currently 1 in the morning with some K-pop playing. I need to actually turn that down. So we're gonna get the dash back on, and we're gonna wrap this one up. And you know, if you guys like the video, I know there's a lot back and forth. I will list everything that I used down below. Everything from the bulbs that I ended up using in this, you know, the lens repair tape, the motors, the motor pack, the soldering iron that I ended up buying, so I had a little bit finer tip, and just some, you know, rosin core flux solder iron, or solder wire, excuse me. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please consider dropping a thumbs up, maybe even subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.